Hi, book reading friends. I am here to do the Reading Rush tag video. Reading Rush normally takes place in the summer. They've decided to do one with the fact that everybody's on kind of a lockdown quarantine kind of situation. They decided to do a brief one for about 4 days here in the middle of April. So April 16th to the 19th is the Readathon Rush mini readathon. I don't know what they're calling it. I don't remember. So there are some book questions I'm supposed to answer, and I'm supposed to share with you my TBR for the Reading Rush. I'm going to do the TBR real quick because it's short. There are just four prompts in the TBR. It's a quick one: a house on the cover, a book with a house on the cover, a book that you read in the same room the whole time, a book set somewhere I wish I could go since none of us can go anywhere right now. It's a really easy book because it could be a book about going to the local pool right now, a book about shopping, I mean, anything, and a book that will make me smile. So I'm going to be able to get this done in 2 books. Here's why. I always do 90% of my reading is done in my recliner. Here in my office, right over there, I have this sweet little corner set up with a recliner and a little table and a lamp and a blanket on the back of the recliner, and it's sort of my cozy little reading corner. There's a cord with an easy access for my Kindle so that if I'm reading on my Kindle and the battery starts to go, I can just power her up right there. So reading in the same room the whole time is not going to be a problem. That prompt's going to be easy. So either one of these 2 books will cover that. The book with the house on the cover, this is when I'm arcing. I got the book from Bookish First. I won it in a raffle. It's called The Call of the Raven. He wrote a book years ago entitled A Falcon Flies that had a character in it that a lot of people wanted to know more about, sort of a hero you love to hate or hate to love or whatever. This is that person's backstory. Mungo St. John is the character's name. This is his backstory. And granted, the house is burning, but there's definitely a house on the cover. I'm arcing this, like I said, through Bookish First. So I'll be reading that for the house, or book with the house on the cover. A book set in a place where I wish to visit, and a book that I know will make me smile. This is being covered by the same title, A Study in Darkness by Emma Jane Holloway. It's book 2 in the Baskerville Affair. Evelina Cooper, the main character of the book, is Sherlock Holmes' niece. She's got some of his powers of deduction. She also has magical powers in a world where that could get her arrested. So this takes place in the Victorian England era when Sherlock Holmes was doing his thing. But Emma Jane Holloway's turned it steampunk. The power players in the community, in the culture, in the political climate are the steam barons. Everything in this community, in this culture, is run on steam. Your electricity is steam powered. The heat in your home is steam powered. And they control everything. So you don't want to make them mad because they'll just cut you off. They'll just leave your house dark and cold. So you don't want to test them because you won't win. And in the first book, we had a murder mystery that sort of got solved and we got some answers too, but it led to bigger mysteries that left us hanging at the end of book 1. So this is book 2. Book 3 is A Study in Ashes, and I cannot wait to finish the whole series. It's kind of a sizable read, so I'm hoping I can get it done in 4 days along with The Call of the Raven. So we'll see about that. The book reading tag questions. Okay, how's my reading going? Well, I work for the public schools, and I'm not a teacher. I'm support staff. So I don't have any classroom stuff to deal with. I'm not trying to do classes online or grade things with my kids. I have a book study that I'm supposed to be doing as a part. I just need to get the book as a part of the part-time staff. But I've got a lot of time on my hands otherwise. So I'm getting a lot of reading done. I'm way ahead of my year-long reading goals at this point in time by a significant chunk. Where have I been reading? Mostly here in my office, and like I said, my cozy little reading corner. Some downstairs in the dining room kitchen area, because if I'm cooking and something needs to boil, or I'm waiting for, I have done some more baking than I usually do, way more baking than I usually do. And so as I'm waiting for the timer to go off, I'll stand in the kitchen with a book in my hand. So that's been a small portion of my reading, but the majority of it's been right over there in my recliner. The best book I've read so far, this was an easy pick for me. Oh my gosh. Cambiare by Avery Ames. It is a dark fairy, not really a romance, thriller, suspense, mystery kind of thing. This woman, Princess Sorel, is desperate to save her brother and her best friend, former lover. They both come down with this illness, this plague that is destroying the population of the kingdom where Sorel lives. Her brother is set to become king when her parents leave the throne or die or whatever. Her parents are out of the kingdom trying to arrange a marriage for Sorel. She's not super thrilled about it. Her best friend is married to one of the barons, and she is pregnant, and she comes down with a plague as well. She's also Sorel's former lover, so she makes a deal with a fae, a dark fae lord. Um, Technically, it's illegal for her to even know how to do that. That information's all been locked away in the archives, but as the princess, she has access. So she figures out how to call one, and his deal with her is he will heal the people she's asked him to heal, but she has to come be his servant for a year. Now, that setup, your brain goes, and they're going to fall in love, and she's going to make him a better person, blah, blah, blah. No. Um, the comment that he makes, um, the comment that Elian makes to her is, there's something dark inside you, princess, and I'm afraid I'm setting it free. She gains some powers and some abilities while she's living in this Fae kingdom. Her visit to the Ancili court unlocks some things in her that is unexpected. Major cliffhanger. There's a sequel coming out that I'm dying to get my hands on. It's not even out yet. The other thing I loved about this book is the princess is a musician, and they don't ever call it bipolar disorder, but they describe her moods um, as very definitely a bipolar kind of thing. And she has found that her music is something that can help her get control of those moods when they hit. Um, as a musician, recently diagnosed with high functioning bipolar disorder, also known as cyclothymic disorder, I hardcore identified with Sorel when she would talk about what music had done for her, um, and how she was most herself when she was making music. Hardcore identified with her. It's a very dark book. It didn't go where I expected it to go at all. And by the end of it, I was like, you can't leave me here. I need more. I've been told, I contacted the author, I've been told there is a sequel coming. There needs to be one because there's so much of the story yet that's not even remotely resolved. So, but this was hands down my favorite read so far of the entire year, to say nothing of the lockdown that we're all on right now. My favorite feel good book, this one absolutely stole my heart. Um, I'm participating this month in the Autistic Pride Readathon, and all of the authors, there are 9 books on the TBR, and all of them are on the spectrum. All of the authors are on the spectrum. And in some of the books, there is autistic rep as well. This is one of those books, A Girl Like Her by Talia Hibbert. Absolutely loved the love story in this. Um, she's on the spectrum. She sort of hides herself away from her community because things have happened that have left her with a reputation that's less than positive. People believe things about her that may or may not be true. Well, this new guy moves in next door, and he's absolutely fascinated with her, and he cannot stay away. He falls in love with her, and he does everything he can to win her over. It's a part of the Ravenswood series, Ravenswood Book One. This I've already got my eyes on the second book, which is his friend and coworker and the girl that he falls for. So I loved it. I've become a big fan of Talia Hibbert as a result of the story, but it was just the sweetest romance mostly because of him, because he understands. He's real quick to study up on, okay, I need to take this slowly. He does a great job of studying her behavior and what can trigger her or cause her problems, and he's really good about sort of reining himself in and taking things at the speed she needs. But it's just a sweet, feel good romance, and it's probably my favorite feel good book. There have been a lot of other books that have been great to read, but for some reason I've been reading a lot of like sci-fi fantasy that's very heavy and like intense and leaves me with a little bit of a book hangover when I'm done. A book I wish I could buy or borrow right now. Oh, that was such an easy answer for me. Muse of Nightmares by Laini Taylor, which is the sequel to Strange the Dreamer. Strange the Dreamer absolutely caught me off guard with this wretched twist near the end that broke my heart. Lady, I'm still mad at you about that. But I can't wait to get my hands on Muse of Nightmares because there are so many questions and so many things that need to be wrapped up yet. But yeah, I love Strange the Dreamer, and I can't wait to get my hands on Muse of Nightmares because I need to see what happens next for the characters. Author shout out. This is so hard because there are so many of them that I love. So I will put their links to the. I've got more than one. Sorry, I know that's probably against the rules for the reading rush, but I need to shout out to all of these. These are all authors I read within the last just few months. Some of them I've read already this year, or have other books on my TBR to read from them. Um, one of them I haven't read since December, mostly because the sequel is just now coming out. So it's getting ready to come out soon, which I got very excited when I saw that. So I'm just going to run through my list real fast. Megan Tennant is the first one that comes to mind. She runs the In December Reading Challenge, which is more of a review challenge than a reading challenge, but her support for other fellow indie authors is absolutely one of the most amazing things I've seen in the book world lately. Cecilia London, who writes the Bellator saga, she kills me. These books just leave me hanging and leave me freaking out. I started reading the first one during in December and went out and bought the entire series. But the problem is the books are so intense and so I get so emotionally invested. I can't read them one right after the other because they just devastate me. So I need to take a breather and walk away for a little bit and then come back. So I'm going to stretch these books out for a bit. Lana Pachersik has written the amazing Deadly Seven series, which I'm working my way through. Humans that were designed to deal specifically with one of the seven deadly sins and are genetically wired to sense it when it's happening. But they have to find their perfect foil to keep that particular sin in check in their own lives. C.K. Birch, who has written the Dust McCallan series, absolutely spectacular group of books. Sort of Indiana Jones, King Solomon's Mines kind of thing. Absolutely fantastic story writing and character building. And I love the fact that there are illustrations for all of the characters. So when he describes a new character to you and you turn the page and there's a black and white sketch of the character. So you'd be like, oh, okay, I was right. I kind of got him right. Catherine Labadie, Slow Wanes the Night is the next one for me to read. I am so excited about this book. Fell in love with her first one when I read it, again, in December. Demelza Carlton, her rewrites of fairy tales and folk tales are stunning. They're astonishing. They're astounding. I love them. I love a good rewrite, and this girl's rewrites are some of my favorite. Sophie Lark, her Colors of Crime series, one of my guilty pleasure authors, writes a lot of Bratva, dark romance, mob crime, or mob romance, mob books. She has an entire series called The Colors of Crime, and books like Crimson and Emerald, and what else is in there? I don't remember them all right now, but I have a significant chunk of them on my Kindle. And last but not least, this is the one whose second book is getting ready to come out soon. My daughter got a copy of his book from him to review, and he and I have chatted a couple of times on Twitter as a result. Like, he made a point of tagging me in a Twitter post, so I knew the second book was coming out. G.M. Nair, who wrote Ducat and Dyer, Dicks for Hire, what a great, campy mystery book. The mystery in and of itself was captivating, but the snark and the camp between the two characters was spectacular. I cannot wait for book 2 to come out. So I know it's a lot more than the one author I'm supposed to give a shout out to, but there are just so many really quality indie authors out there. I'm sure I've missed a couple that I read and love. So, but I encourage you, I will put the links to all of those authors' Twitter accounts and such down below. I will also put a link to the Reading Rush TBR or Reading Rush tag video, the original one, and invite you to join us April 16th through the 19th. Have a great day.